technically challenged over here. Okay, we're getting going. So the thing that we wanted to talk about is how to manifest that abundant life, like the blueprint to that abundant life. And I want to also talk about how like your day-to-day looks like when you're building this business, or when you're building your mindset, or you're building your growth, like whatever you're going through and being faced with. Like the thing is, not every single day you're going to feel 100%. Not every and I will, but that's where the growth and the change, that's like your secret sauce. And the moment you start flipping that perspective is when you really start seeing the magic happen of your belief and your confidence, your alignment, all the things. So I'm going to get our notes pulled up on based off of like just really taking our business to the next level and really focusing on what we do on a routine level. So how do you spend your workday? Like, what does your workday look like for you? For me, like, and I'll give you a couple different layers and I'll have Krista talk on this too. But for me, like my workday looked different 2 years ago when I first started this business. 2 years ago when I first started this business, I was working full time. I was in school full time. I was gone 13 hours a day from my home. And I know, like, if you know my story, you know that that was my life for the first 6 months before I retired myself because of this business. So how I made that happen though, was working in the nooks and the crannies. So my work day didn't look like my work day looks now. Okay. So my hustle at chapter 1 was a lot different than and I don't like the word hustle, but it's a work ethic. You can't have a 9-to-5 work ethic with a 7-figure lifestyle desire. You know, if you want to have all these things, it comes down from doing different to get different. And so me and Krista have been on both sides of these things, because there's days, you guys, like today, I listen to my mind and my body. When I know that I need to pour into myself more than pouring out, I do that. But it's not every single day that I stay stuck in the inconsistent action part. Like I still show up in my stories. I still show up on my posts. I still show up in my income producing activities. But I know to put my phone down once I've done that and allow myself to grow. So my work days in my chapter 1 hustle would be waking up 30, 40, an hour earlier than I was going to work and getting ready. I would get ready and I would put on a podcast, and I put on a YouTube, or I would do my self-development. My self-development from A1 day one has been a non-negotiable for my business, because I knew that it was me. At the end of the day, your answer is always you. Okay. So if I know my mindset has gotten me to this point and my life looks like this, it's because of my choices, my beliefs, my patterns, and my actions. So obviously I'm the problem, because I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. Okay. And that's okay. We all have our things that we have to grow through. So knowing that I needed to grow made me understand I needed to commit. I had to decide, and it wasn't about the business only. It was about my personal growth too. Personal growth isn't just watching and listening and doing self-development. It's also actions and trainings and staying close to the fire and being on these type of things, because guess what? That's what produces the leadership that's in you. The leadership doesn't happen overnight. I didn't want to just take on a team until I was ready, but I also knew that there was women out there that had my voice, that I needed to be me and grow me and lead me, because grow that people back to me and attract those people back. Hang on, sorry. I think everyone's muted. I don't know. It showed muted. So Krista, what is your like work day? Like, how do you spend your work day? Because I know it's a little different than me too.
So mine has a 1-year-old thrown in the middle of anything that I do. But I mean, it's still a non-negotiable. It's still, okay, I either work with my 1-year-old or I take her and drop her off somewhere so I can go work. That was the choice that I made. So I have to make it work. And that's what I do every day. I either get up earlier than her, or when I get up with her, I put her on a routine with me. Like, she knows I go straight for my capsule. She knows I take my products, and we brush our teeth together. I know, like, if you all watch my stories, like, I post these things. So I want people to see, like, we're up at 7 a.m. every day. We're brushing our teeth together. I'm taking my capsules. Like, I take people along my journey. That's how I run my business. I don't do anything any different. Besides pouring into myself, I just take people through my day. All it is we're moms, we take pictures of every dang thing anyways. So I try to just take pictures and videos and just post it on my story all day long, because let's be real, people are coming to my page to see my kids, not me. Like, so I try to take people through that. But I've done this exercise several times before too, like, where you sit down and you think about what your ideal work day is. Like, how do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? How do you want your day to go? And I try to think about those things too. Like, when my day gets away from me, maybe it's 12 o'clock at this point and I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. Okay, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want the rest of my day to look like? And that's the thing, like, when you're home full time, like I am with babies, like I know a lot of us are, you also have to give yourself grace too. Know that you have to stay consistent and make it work. Like, I don't even go to the bathroom by myself. Okay, so she gets iPad time when I get my phone time. Like, there's ways of making it work. You can't tell me that your kid doesn't watch TV or eat or, like, give you 2 seconds at all. Like, you have to be able to put this into your life and make it work. So I do think about that all the time. Like, how do I want my days to go? Or when I lay my head down at night, I think, what did I want, what do I want my day tomorrow to look like that's different from today? Or maybe today was my perfect day. Let's do it again tomorrow. Like, you get a reset button every single morning. So change it. Change the way that you're running things. Try something different. Wake up earlier. If that don't work for you, wake up at the same time and try something different. Put them on a routine too. Like, my kids know, like, don't wake up and get in my face about some food. Like, because mine are older. Besides my 1-year-old, like, they're older. There's cereal in there. Because I had my kids so spoiled to where they thought I had to cook breakfast every morning. I'm sorry, I can't. Like, you either want me to pay for the food or you want me to cook for the food. I can't do both. Like, it's not tangible for me at all. I'm not doing it. So my kids know that. Like I said, besides my 1-year-old, like, they know. They get up, they see me on a Zoom, they go do their thing. And I'm guessing it's gonna be the same thing when we homeschool too. Like, we'll have to break it up. Like, this world is so much different and it's changing every day and we don't know what comes next. So you have to be able to roll with it. You have to be able to change things up. And I know we've talked about this before too. I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time, especially in the background of my day. But waking up and just listening to a podcast about recruiting or whatever, that's not growing your mind that morning. You have to it can work, but you also have to fix your mindset too. You also have to pour other things into your life. You don't want to just run your life listening to how can I recruit. That's not going to change your life. You have to be able to grow in your mind with everything else too. You got anything with that?
No, I just think it's so important because, like, even like for me, like, now that you're saying that, because like whoever has littles, it's so different than who we have older kids. Like, my son, I've built that system where he knows, hey, cereal, or he sleeps in, or I'll make it, but you gotta pick it out. Like, I'm not gonna just create chef like all the things for you. And so, like, it's adapting to what you're going through and not being like, oh, this isn't my normal. There's no such thing as normal. It's just what we tell ourselves is normal because of the routine and the perspective that we're always used to. There's no such thing as normal. It's just, what are you doing every day? That's your normal, but your normal can always change. So, like, today, my day, look, yes, I have a routine, but I want to break that down for you guys because, like, how many days a week do you work? Where do you work from? What time do you wake up? Like, that routine part and like the designing of your life, that happened through me understanding the power of a routine and the power of having that vision for how I wanted my day to go every single day. So for me, and I've been on both sides of this, and even recently, like back in April, I was getting in a habit of sleeping in. And for me, my sleeping in is like 8:30. That's me sleeping in. And I would get hard on myself when I would sleep in. Like hard on myself, like, oh, my day's ruined. I'm gonna I need to make up all this extraness. And this is me because I built a routine. So when I got out of my routine, it made me feel uncomfortable. But then I started switching things up. Okay, so maybe it's time to do different. Maybe it's time to find something else that I can plug into. Because the thing about it is now I'm okay with being I wake up at around 7 every single day. 6 or 7 is the time frame I give myself every single day. And it's because it makes me happy. Okay. It makes me feel so much. And this doesn't have to be your happiness. That's what I'm trying to say. But what worked for me may not work for you. Someone else's 8:30 may bring them so much joy because 8:30 works for you. Do that. But for me, I love waking up early because I can spend so much more time diving deeper in with myself. Because yes, I can slap a podcast on. Yes, I can do a YouTube video. Yes, I can do those things. But you know what fills my cup so much? And I am finally understanding it because I was texting Krista earlier today because I've been in this weird thing where my anxiety out of nowhere just comes up and everything's fine in my life. There's no trigger, there's nothing, and I'm working through it because I know that there's always, when I'm presented with something, it means that it's time to be growing from something. So I don't resist it anymore. I don't just mask it and act like I have everything all together either. I allow myself to sit in that emotion, dissect it, figure out what's going on here and what that root is. And then I pull it up because I no longer need that weed in my life. Okay. So personal development is so key, but personal development is really diving deep, journaling, Bible time, prayer time, getting real deep. If you're angry, resentful, jealous, comparison, resentment, lashing out, these are areas, and I'm not talking about in business, I'm talking about in life. These are the areas, are roots, and these roots have to be pulled up in order to design that life you want. But if you're avoiding it consistently, how are you supposed to get the root up? And so where do you work from every single day? What is that environment for me? And I'm going to talk because Krista and me kind of are very similar on this because I know I love working from my couch. I do. I love working from my couch. I have my little, I have my Zen area where I can just have the light hitting me, work and be real intentional in my conversations. I tried having an office because it's my spare bedroom in the house. It wasn't for me. So find the areas that bring you joy. Find those areas that make you creative. But have a spot. Because if you can, yes, we can work from our toilet when we're sitting and peeing and we have our 5 seconds to pee because our kids are following us everywhere. I've been a mom. I know what it's like. My dogs are now my children. And Kingston's my child, but he's pretty self-sufficient. My dogs follow me everywhere. I'm never alone. So I'm comparing it back to when I had a 1-year-old. It's different. But you got to take those intentional times to find that spark. A spark's never going to just be there. You create it. And how you create it is by envisioning where you're taking this to. That life you're designing. Those feelings of what it feels like once you have that office or once you have that opportunity to be home with your children all the time. Where's your joy and your creativity coming from? Me, you got to tap into those vulnerabilities even. You don't have to be at that picture perfect highlight reel office or that picture perfect highlight house. It could be your desk space. I mean, I know the COVID, you're not at a cubicle. Most of us aren't having to go into an office. But that was my reality for the first 6 months. And so I would take a picture sitting at a dang cubicle saying, I cannot wait until I bring myself home. And I didn't care if my boss saw it. I didn't care if my colleagues saw it because I wasn't planning on staying there. I knew where I was going because my vision matched my action. So, Krista, what do you have on that section in there?
I think that was it. I think it kind of flowed right into our next section. If you want me to go or you want to go? Or?
Yeah, you can totally rock that.
So the thing is, once you figure out what, and all of the things like yesterday's training, all of this is going to flow together. So once you figure out what your ideal day is and how you want to feel and how you want to wake up and how you want to run your business, you need to figure out why you're here. And I like all of this is going to be a little different, but this is like your mission statement. I know a lot of people think, oh, well, that's just for like a big business. No, like we all have a reason. You have a why, and that's like why you work. But what is your mission statement? Like, what are you doing this for? So like, I know I've been doing this training, and she asked if there was one thing that if someone gave you a microphone and you can tell the world like one thing, what would you tell the world? So first of all, who are you speaking to? Is it to a woman around your age? Like I know specifically like Brittany's my type of person. So I would be speaking to a person like Brittany. So I can picture her when I think of my ideal client, my ideal customer, my ideal promoter on my team. I can think of her. And that's you can find someone that you can think of that way. Like maybe you want, Serena, like if you look at her page and you're like, oh my gosh, that's my girl. Think of your customers that way. Like if you need to picture that person, that's what you need to do. So you know what you're aiming for. You know who you're speaking to. So anyways, you're holding a microphone. What are you telling the next woman? So like it can be, there's more than just, I know Brittany's is there's more than just the 9 to 5. I know Brittany's had a past with, drug addiction. That's her thing. She talks about that. Those things are the things that she would say through her megaphone. That's what she's going to talk to somebody about. So when you're thinking about your social media posts, that's what you're doing. Think of that microphone, that megaphone, whatever. That's what that is. That's what your social media outlet is. So be ready. Like, it's just like if people are protesting or if you're trying to stop and help world peace, like what are you telling women? Like you're worth more. You can do whatever you put your mind to. You can be a great mom. Like what are these things that you're telling people? So when you think about that, why does the world need to hear it? Why do these people need to hear that from you? So that's just, what your truth is basically. So who are you and what do you do? Like I said, all of this is how you're showing up on social media every day. Are you just inspiring other women to show up and be more and do more and show that, like my thing has always been, I want to show women that they can raise a business and babies at the same time. Like that's just my thing. Like that's what I want to be able to show women. And that's why I show up the way that I do on social media. I have a baby on my hip and I'm doing a live. Like she's always on my hip because I can grow my business and I can grow these children. That's what I'm here for. So I'm here to tell people that they can do it. So I want you all to think about that. Like, why are you here? Who are you here to help? What are you here to tell them? What are your fears? What are you going through in life? I know yesterday we talked about like, do you co-parent? Do you go through like the court system with child support or whatever? Talk about that. Other people are going through it too. Like, you don't have to share all of your business. I get that. But why do these people need you? You're not just on social media just to be there. These people need you. And then the last thing with that is, what happens to these women if you don't show up? So let's think like, I know most of you all are under Brittany. What if Brittany didn't show up? What if she didn't show up with her megaphone or her microphone? I probably wouldn't be here. She's who I joined through. And if I was here, it might be different. It wouldn't be the same. And then Candy's under me, so she wouldn't be here. And then all the people under us wouldn't be here. So if Brittany didn't show up on her social media with her microphone and say what she needed to say for you to hear it to join, then what? So that's what I want you all to think about when you think, oh, I just want posts today because I just don't know what to talk about. Think about the woman that needed you to show up today and say something. So you can go ahead if you want to.
I think what I'm learning through, and because Chris is the yin to my yang, she's very like this is why we vibe so well with each other, because I have a rambling thing, but I'm also growing with you guys. And one of the things I'm growing in is being vulnerable. Like I'm confident, but when it comes to the inner chatter that I battle with every single day, it sometimes can be overwhelming. And I try to put myself in your guys' shoes. Like when you're new or starting out or you're going through things and you come to me, and when you're coming to me with your guys' things that I want to help you work through because I love you so much, And I want you to see that potential, that confidence, that vision, that belief, that just all the things I want you to experience and see. I can't do that unless I can pour into me to be able to pour into you. And so how I do that, because right now I'm in this growth season and I'm all for it because I know that there's an amazing thing after the end. I always, if you know me, you know I talk about arrows. I'm actually getting my tattoo done up soon with that because like arrows are part of my mission statement pretty much. Every time you go through something, every time you are going through life, you're going to the next level, you're growing, you're about to go to a new rank, a new volume, a new paycheck, a new level of life, a new level of living, a new credit, whatever. There's always resistance. Every time you think of an arrow, an archer has to pull the arrow back first before it gets launched forward, correct? That's how it creates that speed. That's how it creates that traction. That's how it creates that endurance and that perseverance to push through that bullet point that it has to hit that target. I look at myself like I'm a dang arrow. So whenever I'm being faced with something or growing through something and building my confidence differently than what I've built to up to this point, it happens through the arrow effect. But you know how you get to the target? You can't let off the resistance. And if you're not showing up every day, you're choosing the easy. And I'm going to explain what the easy is. Not showing up, not doing your income producing activities, not doing the self-development, not doing the things you know deep down you need to be doing every single day. You're losing your resistance. And that resistance is what launches you to your target. My confidence isn't always on point, but I develop my confidence because of the beliefs of my personal development and what I grow every single day. So what qualifies you to do this? And this is what imposter syndrome can do sometimes, because sometimes we either operate out of perfection, we operate in imposter syndrome, and Katie and Em have done some really good trainings on this if you need to go back to that. But it's real things, and it will make or break where you go with your vision, okay? Because what qualifies you to do this is you. What qualifies you to do this is your life experiences, the things you've gone through that you never thought you would be able to overcome, your education or lack of education, your character traits, your spirit, like whatever makes you you, that is what makes you qualified. And I'm preaching to the choir. Sometimes I'm like, how did this broken girl 5 years ago go on to living the life that she has? And I've battled through my own worthiness with these things. It's okay. But what's not okay is to have the word but attached to it, because that's the moment you become a victim. I'm reading, if you need a freaking bomb book, which I don't know how I never read this before, bomb book. I'm loving it. And it's like taking me back to my roots, my inner mean girls that I'm trying to like chatter in my head. And I was reading a part and it says the moment you put a but after anything, like, oh, I needed to show up today, but, oh, I should have posted today, but, oh, this is happening in my life, but, oh, I'm working this crazy schedule, so it's all off, and that's why I haven't shown up, but you're a victim. I need you to understand you have to choose you. You don't need to choose your friends. You don't need to choose, and what I mean, but like by choosing, I'm not saying eliminating every single person in your life. I'm not saying cut off everyone that doesn't operate the same mindset level you do or the vision you do, because I've gotten like that before. No, I'm saying love them from afar, create boundaries that are healthy for your mental state, keep the things that you need to be doing that keep you joyful every single day close, and commit to the future that you're coming through and navigate through the feelings you're growing through. You're allowed to be a human. We're not robots. So how you build the confidence and solidify that confidence is understanding what you're serving. Who is that person you're talking to? Who's that microphone you're going to pass it to? What's that voice that you have in your heart? I'll have girls give, like when you're in your first 30 days with me, a lot of times I have you screenshot conversations to me, or like we do 3-way chats, things like that. I don't hunt you down to do that. You have to come to me to ask. And the thing is, when I am passing that microphone to one of my girls and they're like, I don't know what to say. How would you talk to the person you love most? How would you talk to your sister, your mom? Maybe you don't have a good relationship with those people. How would you talk to your child? What would you say through that microphone if you were telling them to believe in themselves? That is how you talk to your potentials. This isn't just sell fluff. These products are unmatched. There's no need to devalue, to justify, to feel like you don't have the confidence in the delivering of these like when there's objections or answers. Our products are bomb. And when people are doing them correctly and listening and implementing and staying consistent, because the customers deal with their own mindset things as well, or promoters as well. What audience are you serving and how are you helping your audience overcome? So even with my customers and my clients, I serve them and help them understand their mindset as well. It's not just, hey, here's amazing products, you're going to feel 1,000 times better. No, you got to do the inner work too. So my customers, they get automatically added into the customer page that we have. And I work with them, even with self-development. I'll send my customers self-development. I said, like, we have our own like ways of doing our own customer appreciation. There's no right or wrong, but it's serving, not just, hey, you get them in the system and they're done. How does this serve the world that you're trying to create? Krista, did you want to go into the next part or do you want to?
Yeah, that works. So the thing is, a lot of you all will start questioning whether you're qualified to talk about what you talk about. You simply going through something qualifies you because you have your own story with it. So, like with me, I have been through, I'm trying to think of something specific. I don't talk about co-parenting because I have not figured that out. I'm trying to think of something that's just, I don't know. But if I bought a house, I could talk about buying a house because I went through the situation. I can talk, I'm not an expert. Just because we say expert doesn't mean you're an expert at that. But you know a little bit about what you're doing because you went through it. So if I read a book, I can tell Brittany about that book. I read it, I know a little bit about it, so I can tell her what it's about. If I watch it, like, you're doing these things every day. You get on Facebook and talk about all the Grey's Anatomy things because you're an expert in Grey's Anatomy, right? Do the same thing in your life experiences. Talk about what you've been through. How did you get through your breaks in your life? How did you get through these breakthroughs with your husband? How did you get through potty training? Like, send me all the potty training tips. Like, show up and talk like you're an expert in a lot of things you just don't give yourself credit for. But that's what makes you human. That's what people need to hear from you. That's the same thing with your megaphone. Show up and talk about what you've been through and how you can help people get through it too. So, and it doesn't have to be like training. Like Brittany yesterday, she had said she has her GED. That didn't make her not qualified to lead a 200K team like she's doing. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to be it all. You don't have to have a college degree to do this. You are more experienced. You don't give yourself enough credit. So that's been huge. And I know we keep talking about that, but I feel like everyone needs to hear it. So anyways, when you realize what you're worth and what you know, that solidifies the confidence. That helps you realize you are confident and you know what you're talking about in one or two or more things. Like, you can give yourself a reason to show up and talk about those things. And that's what changes your brand. That's how it changes your brand, because you realize who you are and what you're about. Like I said yesterday on the training, like, okay, people come to me for shoes and clothes for their kids. Okay, I'm going to run with it. Like, if I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to help other people if that's what they want help with. Why would I be like, oh no? Because I know there's a lot of girls, females talk about this all the time. Like, if I messaged Brittany and was like, hey, what lipstick do you have on? And she was like, I don't know, like, because she didn't want to tell me. Don't be that type of person. If they want to know what you have on, or if they want to know how you potty trained your kid or whatever, let them know. Don't be the type of woman that holds back and doesn't give a tip because you feel like you're not qualified or you want to be snotty. Just give them what they want to hear. But this just helps you realize like why you're here and who you are and how you can serve the world, even if it's these little bitty things. Maybe you're great at trainings, like you get on a Zoom training. That's another thing, stepping out of your comfort zone to get on a Zoom training. Maybe you realize that you were actually good at this, and that's how you can serve more people. You have to do these things. You have to step a little bit out of your comfort zone to realize what you're good at and what you're capable of. So that, getting clear on your why and who you are and how you serve the world, people feel this. Just you showing up boldly and talking about something that you know about, people feel that. Like, even if you know how to cook, get on there. Like, Katie cooks all the time on her dang stories. People know, like, I don't know if it's HelloFresh or what she orders, but she orders through something like that. People know that about her at this point. They know that she's experimenting. She likes to cook. She likes to try new things. So she can give some tips on that. She does it all the time. That's her thing. She knows that about herself, and that's why she continues to show up that way. So what is your thing? Like, if you don't know these things, you're overcomplicating it. You're making it too hard. It's not that hard. So, do you want to go to the next part?
Yeah, and that's the thing I also want to piggyback off of that really quick. Like, knowing your things. Okay, I know a lot of us do come here for weight loss too. And if you're in a weight loss journey, you don't need to be a twig and then share, oh, I lost this weight. You need to take them on that journey with you if that is a part of your why. And so I know sometimes we avoid the before and afters from ourselves. And I see some people grinning. So I need to challenge you in this, because if that is a part of your why, you need to share that. Because the thing is, that fear, you got to drop that doubt. And so dropping that doubt, these are things of how you do it. And it's like journaling and working through it, because those things that deep down you need to be doing, like I always talk, I have a podcast episode on it. What are you avoiding? The things you are avoiding, I promise you, are the breakthroughs that you're praying for and wanting and hoping for. I'm telling you right now. Every time I'm like, what am I avoiding? What am I avoiding? What am I avoiding? And then I start doing the thing I'm avoiding, and I know deep down what it is. And I just start doing it for at least like 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks of consistency. There is going to be an aha breakthrough moment within your mindset and your actions. 1000%. Okay. Maybe it's, hey, you have stinking thinking, or you have friendships that are stinking thinking. You have friendships in your life that aren't serving your future right now. It's not, you don't have to cut them off, but you do need to learn to put you first and your mind first. Okay. Because boundaries are very, very important with self-love and self-growth. So give your doubt, your fear, a name. You know how I say I say Becky Sue, which I have a Becky on her name's Rebecca, and I love her to death, but I have Becky Sue, and I have Karen, and then I have all these other weird names. I give them a name. I give my fears names, and I say, I will not let this control me today. What are you afraid to post online? Like I'm talking about those, maybe it's before and afters. I went through an eating disorder back from all the way up from freshman year until senior year, because I was fitting in with the crowd and popular and all the things that high school girls go through. And I dealt with an eating disorder. So there's even times where I've shared a picture of me 10 years ago and then the woman I am now. And it's not a before and after in the fact that I have lost weight. It's a before and after of the life that's showing in my face. It's a before and after of what premium nutrition has done to light me up from the inside out. Self-love, growth, all the things. What feelings come up when you're journaling these things out? What feel like I do brain dumps. I call it brain dumps. If you're on my team, you've heard me say this before. I literally go on a tangent on everything I'm feeling inside, and I journal it all down. And it can be like the word, like I feel like, and I'm being honest because I deal with this. I feel fat today. Oh my God, I ate like crap. I just want to go and binge. And these are emotions that I go through sometimes. I just want to binge eat. This makes me feel better, whatever. It can be all the things, right? And you feel these things out. Then you're able to separate the emotion from the truth. My truths tell me I'm an overcomer. My truths tell me I'm a conqueror. My truths tell me that I can do anything I put my mind to. My truths tell me I'm worthy, I'm loved, I'm capable, I'm qualified. So once I'm able to see the emotions and be like, that's some BS I'm telling myself, holy crap, I'm human, but these are the truths of what I really know about myself. That's when you can separate your fear, your Karens, your whatever, and put them to the side more. The more you practice putting it to the side, maybe you're a person that does good with like visuals, analogies, things like that. Discredit your fear. So like, I know like in cartoons, you'll see the angel and the devil. I even have stupid teddy bears on my back that have an angel. Long story, I want to get them removed. So I'll think of that on my like, and when I'm in my head, I'll think of a little bad guy and a little good guy. And I'm always thinking about like flicking the bad guy off. Maybe that's something that you will be easier, that visual of just flicking that fear off of your shoulder. You're not winning today. You're not going to let me not show up to, like, I am in charge of what I'm willing to do. And this is, I'm going to go off of this and I'll let Krista end, but I really want to talk about this really fast, is the willingness. Because the difference between only when you're unwilling can control just the simply existing feeling unsatisfied and unfulfilled will you make the effort necessary to make the change only when you're unwilling to put your BS to the side. So you have to be willing to be unwilling to prove yourself wrong. You got to understand it's about being willing to do the uncomfortable, being willing to do the personal development, being willing to be coachable, being willing to get into action, being willing to show up for yourself, being willing. But if you're always resisting, then you are settling. You're coasting, you're stagnant, you're doubting, you're fearful, because you're usually unwilling to do the things that it takes to get to the results that you want. And that's where you got to flick that fear off. Because once you start getting into that willing action, that willing of showing up, the willing of how I choose my day to go, the moment is when all those things start to align for you. Every time you add the word but is, like I said, it's going to add that victim mode. So I want you to also pay attention to the language you're speaking over yourself when you're in those moments. And I'm preaching to myself too. I go through these things, but I know I practice. So like me and Krista, just because we have an off day or we're having whatever we go through, we practice these things and allow us to put our phone down. When I feel like this is the other thing, because I was such a workaholic and everyone knows this about me. Like I'm the most consistent person. I show up every single day. But the thing about it is when I feel like it's not bringing me joy, I'm on my phone and I'm just getting like maybe I need to set my phone down. I do it. And then I unplug for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it needs to be. And then once I feel more joyful and like where I'm ready to be like, hey, work again or whatever, then I do it. I don't just push myself to the limits. I did operate like that. And that is also a fear thing when you're operating out of micromanaging or workaholicness. I don't know if that's like a right word, but we're going to go with it. But that is a fear thing. And I'm speaking from experience because it is going to Axel, stop it. Sorry, my dog. The last thing is I'm going to end with this really quick. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. Are you dragging? Usually if that's the case, if you are, you're reluctant in an area. And this is where you got to do some homework on that. So I'm going to let Krista in because I think she has like the last section.
So I'm going to give you all your homework. I'm going to kind of go over it. And then, of course, I'll post it in the chat or in the groups like we did. So FYI, part 3 is tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I have M's downline training. So it's M's Zoom code, just like it is every Wednesday night. I know everyone here is under M. So that's where we'll finish this off. It's going to be completely pretty much about recruiting, signing customers, all the good stuff that we needed to lead all of this up to. So you have homework for tonight that goes into tomorrow. So you don't have to worry about like writing all this down. There'll be a recording and I will post these questions and stuff. So who do you want to serve? How do you want to help them? So this is what I was saying, kind of finding your person. So like if you want Brittany's on your team, if you want Christina's on your team, like think of those people when you're thinking about your people. When you're following on Instagram or adding on Facebook, think about that. Say, okay, is this like my person? How does it help you? So like how do finding these people help you more than money? What do you get out of this besides money? Does it just make you happy to help other people, to help them lose weight or help these moms make extra money? What does your team look like? So these are going to be the big things I really want you all to focus on tonight. What does your team look like? And maybe you can't get past like a team of 10 right now. Maybe you can just see yourself with a team of 10 amazing rock stars that show up every day. They're on all the Zooms, like they're fired up in a team chat every single day. They're constantly asking you just not, I don't want to say dumb questions. I don't want to put that out there like that, but they're constantly coming to you with good questions. Like they're constantly wanting to learn. They're doing their personal development. What kind of community do you feel? Do you feel this kind of community in your team too? Like what kind of culture are you creating? How big is your team? What are you known for? Are you known for your leadership? Are you known for your talking people down and talking people through things and helping them through their breakthroughs? How does it feel seeing your paychecks grow? Like beyond just the money, but how does that feel? Does it feel like good because you're paying off your debt, because you know you can get a car, you can help someone else, you can pay it forward? How does it feel seeing your team's paychecks grow? That's huge. It's not just about you. How does it feel when I text Brittany? How does she feel when I tell her, oh, I got my first comment check, or oh my gosh, I just paid 2 bills off, or this and that? Like, how does that make you feel when people come to you about that? You have to feel these feelings before people start doing that with you. You have to feel these things ahead of time. How does it feel seeing your customers satisfied? So you're constantly waking up to great reviews every single morning. You wake up and all your customers are blowing you up like, oh my gosh, how do I get this? How do I get more? How do I send people to you? I feel amazing. Think about those things. How does it feel seeing your family at ease? How does it feel when you tell your husband, I got the utility bill. I'm going to pay your car payment. You can go get a new car. Like, I know all the men want to go get like all the Ford Raptors or maybe a new Benz or whatever. Like, how does that feel to let your man or your wife or even your kid, maybe you have a 16-year-old and you need to get them a car. Like, how does it feel when your family feels at ease? Maybe you can help your parents pay a bill. Maybe you can buy a great gift for someone in your family that you couldn't before. How do those things make you feel? How does it feel being recognized for the rank that you desire? Brittany just shouted you out for going 80K. How do you feel? Are you excited? Is everyone blowing up your thread, giving you post love? Did you arrive? Is this what you were working for this whole time? Did all of the tears and then the hustle and everything just pay off? Do you feel relieved? How do you feel? And then let me think. Yeah, I'll go through these. Do you want to add anything with that, or do we just keep on? Okay. Who do you work with? So who's on your team? Know this person. And I don't like to get too specific with these things because then it starts getting to me, because like there's an age on here. Well, if I said that I only want 20-year-olds on my team, but then a 40-year-old approaches me, am I going to turn her away? No. So I don't get too specific with stuff like this, but like I said, it's easier for you to visualize a person like Brittany or, whoever. So age, what are their fears? Are they afraid that this business isn't what they need? So acknowledge those fears. Are they afraid that these products won't work because they came from another company? Acknowledge those things when you're doing your stories and your posts. What are their struggles? Is it a C-section pouch? Is it having no energy? Being addicted to coffee? Like, what are they struggling with? That's what you're geared towards when you're making your posts and you're jumping on your stories and lives. What are their desires? Do they want to help their husband with the bills? Do they want a new car? Do they just want to be able to go get a mani and a pedi? What do they want? What's your relationship like? So when you sign someone up on your team, you want them to be your best friend, right? You want to be BFFs. You want to, like, this is your person. You can't wait to talk to them every day and see how great they're doing in the business. How does it feel to work with this person? Who's your ideal team member? All of these things are pretty much the same thing. What does she need to hear from you? So that encouragement that you can't wait to wake up every morning and just encourage. A lot of mornings, me and Brittany both text each other and we're like, hey, Miss 200K, like, let's do this today. Find those people for yourself. That's what you want. Encourage your team that way. So I think all of that, yeah. So all of that is what you need to work on tonight. Like I said, I'll post these in our chats and in the page and whatever. All of those things is what you need to think about tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to talk about, like, with this in mind, what is your purpose for your social media? Like, how are we going to infuse these things into our posts every day? How are we going to attract these people in our life? Like, we have some affirmations. We have all the things for y'all. I can't wait. Like, part 3 is going to be the icing on everything we covered the last 2 days. Because like I said, these things are what you need to know leading up to who you want on your team and how you're going to get them there. So make sure you all did this homework again. And if you didn't do last night, just catch up. Like, you need it done by tomorrow at 8 o'clock, because the Zoom is at 9 and you need to be ready. So work on all of this tonight. Really dig deep. Really feel the feelings of, like, you just hit 40K and your whole team, you have 1,000 people on your team and all your team chats are going crazy because it's just the best time. All the momentum's here. Like, everything just took off. This is what you've been waiting for. Feel these feelings. Where can I find last night's? We will post that. They should be in, I know it's in Limitless. I know Brittany posted it in there.
It's in both. So biggest thing, and another tip, just in case, because this is last thing, if you don't know if the trainings are loaded or and stuff like that, what I do is, like, let's say it was Lindsay's training, but I hosted it. Usually the person that hosts it will post it or something. So I'll type in M in the search bar or type in Lindsay in the search bar and then go to most recent at the top, and it will pull up anything that I specifically have posted recently. Lindsay and Krista, all the things too, but it's in the Hustle page, and you can, I think it's titled part 1. So even if you search part 1, it will pop up too. Did you have anything else, Krista?
I don't think so. I was going to go ahead and post all these questions so you all could start on your homework, but that's pretty much it. I just really want you all to think about all these things. And when you're watching the recording tonight or tomorrow, whatever, just be ready to make your plan, because if you implement all the things that we're going to go over the last 2 days and what we're going to talk about tomorrow night, I promise you, if you get consistent and you do these things, you can be successful. I promise you. So I think that was pretty much it. So thank you all for getting on. I can't wait till tomorrow. I know we've got some good info for you, so make sure you and your teams are on. Bye, y'all.